Mm-hmm. Can Carmelo Anthony be a factor in Paul George and Russell Westbrook sticking around Oklahoma City?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, if they win,
yeah,
right? If they win enough, Carmelo's probably going to be a reason why. One of the reasons why. So if they play together and they win, to me, yes, I do think that can help keep both those guys in Oklahoma City. I just, again, I don't know if Paul George's mind is pretty much made up, if he's open to it right now. Winning solves almost everything. And if they somehow, take the Warriors to 7 games this year, go to the Western Conference Finals, take them to 7 games, it would be hard to imagine. It'd be tough for Paul George to leave. He can still do it.
That's what I always say. Like, it's one thing to say that when you're on a going nowhere Indiana team that you want to play for the Lakers. Right. It's one thing. It's another thing,
what you're getting yourself into.
It's another thing to walk away from a 55-plus win team going to a conference finals. People point to Durant and him leaving Oklahoma City. Durant went to a ready-made championship. Right. He was an automatic champion on a different system, a different style. I don't know. I mean, look, it all depends on how.
Could George do that with LeBron and Lonzo Ball, and right? Like he could have.
And the Lakers are going to be bad. Like they're going to be really bad
this year.
This year.
You don't think in 3 years they're one of the super teams?
Depends on who they get, and it depends.
They're going to get somebody.
It depends what Lonzo looks like, what Brandon Ingram looks like. They'll get somebody, but they're still in the West. And is it a roll of the dice for Paul George? Even if you go with LeBron, even if LeBron says, "I'm going there, Paul, you come with me." It's still a roll of the dice that LeBron, Paul George, plus 2 young guys that may or may not work out are going to be able to compete. And you know this, like guys when they hit this age, 28 years old, whatever Paul's going to be at free agency, they start looking at their basketball mortality. They start wondering, all right, I got to win. I'm in my prime. I got to win. I wonder if that's how big a factor that is.
I think it will be. I think absolutely. If he thinks they can win it all in Oklahoma City, he might stay there.
Yeah.
And that's where if you're Sam Presti, like you said earlier, listen, you didn't give up anything that you can't replace.
You're basically an expansion team if everybody opts out. But
right. But you know what?
Yeah.
You take a shot,
yeah.
just like Cleveland's trying to do too for this year. You take your shot now. If you're a small market team, you play for the now, see what you can do, get as much talent as you can, because if not, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're sitting there in mediocrity.
Give them credit for rolling the dice.
Yep.
I mean, they're a small market team that would never have been able to get Paul George otherwise, never have been able to get Carmelo Anthony otherwise. I can respect what they did there. All right, let's look at Kevin Durant, who just had one of the worst weeks you could possibly have. Social media, going back and forth with a fan with like 150 followers who was hitting him about leaving Oklahoma City for the umpteenth time. It sure seemed like KD's got a ghost account that he was trying to flip back and forth from. Didn't. Yeah. It came on his account and it got screen grabbed, and the rock started rolling down the mountain from there. Look, I've covered KD for a long time. I understand, and I respect him because he's always very thoughtful with his answers. He is a very articulate guy. He will think about an answer and he'll give it to you, but I just can't understand why. What are we, 15, 16 months after his decision to leave Oklahoma City, why he's still thinking about this, why he's still answering. He's never going to get these Twitter bots from Nobody stopping to hit him. It's going to happen for the rest of his career. People that are angry. Why does he even? Why do you think he still thinks about this? Because I reported last week that look, nobody's pissed at him in Golden State, but there are teammates and there are people in the organization that are just bewildered by his behavior, by why you just won a championship. This should be the best summer that you've had. Why are you clapping back at some twitbot?
Maybe Draymond's rubbing off on him a little bit or something. Who knows?
I don't even think Draymond does it to that extent.
No, you're right.
Like, I mean,
it's funny. A year ago, I asked Kevin in Vegas, and I said, when he made the decision, I said, how much do you want to be liked? And he looked at me. He's like, I don't care about being liked by anybody other than the typical answer you get from most people. The only people I care about are the people close to me. I don't believe it because, like, if I said it, it's not true. Like, you want to be liked. Now, I don't mind being hated by some people. I don't think Kevin minds being hated by some people. But he's also he's not a guy who goes out and parties. He's home a lot. He's a homebody. So I do think he's home, checking Twitter, just being like you and I, like just a regular dude who's just a great basketball player. And he is a really good kid. I mean, he is. I think most people would say that. Like, he's fought some people over the years lately, starting in Oklahoma City. I think he started to kind of go at the media a little bit. And but I think ultimately, to me, Kevin Durant's just a different guy than a lot of these other NBA guys, and he is. He's on Twitter. He's going back with people. I wouldn't suggest it, but I do it, and you do it, and everybody does it for the most part. It takes somebody really focused not to be able to do that, right? Not to be able to go back on Twitter. And how many other you think athletes have these fake accounts?
Oh, plenty. Every one of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Every one of them, yeah.
So he didn't switch it, probably.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't know that for sure, but he didn't
switch it. We all talk
it.
in the third person all the time.
Right, exactly. So, like,
Chris Mannix thinks this podcast is going really well. He's a big fan. But Kevin Durant won the battle. Like, Kevin Durant, you know,
so you're saying, like, just be done.
He's not, look, he took the easier path to a championship, yes, but he's not a bandwagon jumper. He was the finals MVP. I've maintained since the finals, they don't win a championship. They don't beat Cleveland unless they have Kevin Durant. That's how good Cleveland was in that series. Even getting beat 4-1, Cleveland was really good, especially the last 3 games of that series. He's won. You know, take your victory. Don't worry. I mean, I think what we know now is that
easier said than done these days.
But we are always we understand now that Kevin Durant is never fully going to be able to let go of leaving Oklahoma City. That there will always be at least a little bit of regret that he did it. And he said as much in some interviews. The Modern Luxury, the San Francisco Magazine, he talked about being at rock bottom in China. He had a little bit of regret then. I think he's got a little bit of regret now, and that's never going to go away.
Again, I think he wants to be liked deep down, and I think it's hard for him because he's always been liked his entire life. He's somebody who everybody kind of heaps praise on, and then all of a sudden you go from this guy that gets vilified by a segment of people, and it's a small segment, but they're all on Twitter, and they're all coming at you. And finally, you're sitting home one day, and you got nothing to do, and you're on Twitter, and you're like, the hell with it, you know, I'm going to go back at him. And you forget to switch your account, and next thing you know, and I give him credit, like he didn't go up there and say, hey, my account was hacked. That's what I probably would have done.
Nobody would have believed that.
Nobody would have believed it, but people do it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
usually
I agree.
it's usually like sexting that they say the hack. That's the hack.
You know
like,
that, right?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I've said it like 3 times on Twitter that I've been hacked.
Sorry.
Any of the stuff that Durant's done this summer, and I point out the Under Armour slight to Steph Curry, which I know Steph had a bit of an issue with. The sneakers, soles with the writing on it, and now this. Any of it carry over? Or does it all just kind of dissipate now that we're into training camp?
Again, I think because Draymond is on that team, he's fine. If Draymond wasn't on that team, I think people might be looking at him like, what the hell is he doing? Even Steph. But I think those guys are all – I mean, Steph's elite in terms of character. Clay doesn't care about anything, right? I mean, Clay just says 2 words and he's done. So I think it's fine, and really where it matters is in that locker room, and Kerr can handle anybody. So I think they'll be fine as long as they win. And even if they don't win early, like it doesn't really matter. All that matters for them is winning another title. But I think KD will be fine.
Which they are prohibitive favorites. I mean, this has been one of the best off seasons I can remember. I mean, you and I are sitting here at Boston's training camp media day talking about a deal that just happened over the weekend right before a major deal. But you get into the regular season, and would it surprise anybody if Golden State opened up 26-3 and rolled? I mean, they might have gotten a little bit deeper with some of the acquisitions they made this offseason, Nick Young, among others. It's a fun offseason.
Fewer off nights. Like they can't have off nights as often as they could have.
But they'll get even more rest now because of the stretching of the schedule. Yep. I think we're headed to another strong Golden State season. One more thought about Golden State electing. Well, here's how it went. They said, we don't want to go to the White House. The president disinvited them to go to the White House. There are 2 schools of thought on the White House visit with a polarizing president. One, don't go and make a statement that way. Second, and I've heard NFL players say this, go and speak your mind to the president. Say, these are where my issues are. I'd like to address these with you face to face. Where do you fall on that? Like which side of the aisle?
Man, that would take some cojones to go there. And I mean, I guess if you do it the right way. But
I think Draymond Green's got those. I think he
would love to do it.
I think he could stand in front of Donald. I think David West could stand in front of Donald Trump and say things like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like you said. I mean, it's incredible. I put something out there. North Carolina isn't going to the White House, and everybody like blasted him right away. And then, I talked to a spokesman from Carolina. He said, we just couldn't find a date that works. College players are obviously different. NBA players speak their mind. They don't. The most incredible thing for all this for me is the fact that so many athletes come out publicly right now and are going at the president of the United States. Like, did you ever in a million years think that could, like, Chris, did you ever think one person would ever do that on social media or whatever, that you could come out and go at the president of the United States? It shows where our country is come to right now. It's scary. It's sad.
I remember in Boston when Tim Thomas with the Bruins decided not to go to see Barack Obama, and that was a huge deal.
Huge.
At the time. Now you have franchises, college teams electing not to go. I'm glad they're not. And even if they were invited, I'm glad. I was assuming they would have said, I'm not going to go, because I don't like the optics. I mean, if they go and it's just sort of like the look on their face is like, I don't want to be there, doesn't that just extend the story? Doesn't it mean and what if half the team or 3/4 of the team doesn't show up? What if it's just Joe Lacob and Bob Myers?
Yeah, it doesn't look good for anybody.
Team? It's just a bad look. Just walk away and end the story. Now, our president's not determined not to end the story, and he takes some offenses. He was quick to point out that the Penguins are going to the White House. So
the LeBron tweet was incredible, Chris.
You bum is now up there with every other.
Might be the most, honestly, when you read that, how shocked were you?
Right to the point.
Didn't you, the first thing I did was make sure it was LeBron's real account.
Yep.
Right? Isn't that first thing? I
can't
believe
not King Jones
he did this. Exactly. Some fake account, because you're looking at it saying, I can't believe he did this. And now I think it just opens the door for anybody else in the NBA, because once LeBron does it, it's kind of open for anybody.
Yeah. All right, let me finish with this. We're here in Boston, and I've done a lot of Celtic stuff over the last few weeks, and Kyrie, the trade, but you're someone that's covered Jason Tatum extensively over the last few years. And, look, Boston was very clear about how excited they were on draft night. They believed that he was their top guy on their board. At least that's what they say, and we'll take them at their word for the moment. Give me just your assessment of Jason Tatum, and also how NBA ready is he to play on a team that has aspirations to get to the finals this year?
Yeah, no, he's ready offensively. I mean, he's going to be, to me, Paul Pierce, Carmelo. He could be at that level.
Wow.
He will be a good number 3 guy for the Celtics behind Kyrie and Gordon Hayward fairly quickly, in a year. I really think he can be a number 3 guy in a year. He's so skilled, special offensively. His step back is so sweet. He's got an arsenal of moves that he can kind of go to. The key for him is going to be defensively, and they need defense on this team right now. I mean, you brought in Kyrie for Isaiah. We'll call that an upgrade. I'm not sure how much of an upgrade it is, because neither are great defensively.
Yeah.
But you lost some toughness and defense, and the other part of this now is, so you lose Avery, you lose Jay, and Marcus Smart has dropped 20 pounds. And most people would say, that's great, Marcus Smart dropped 20 pounds. I'm not so sure, because you can't put him on LeBron now.
Yeah.
Even for a couple minutes, you can't put, now he'll look like Avery Bradley, which is fine. He can guard certain guys, but the beauty of Marcus Smart defensively was he could switch 1 to 4, because he was so tough and big and strong. So defensively is where I kind of worry about this team.
Didn't he need to lose that? I mean, I
don't know.
I remember him fading. Remember how he faded? He faded when he had an opportunity with Isaiah out. He had a great game in Game 3. Great game. And then a day and a half later, he faded. I think a lot of that had to do with stamina and not having the physicality or be able to withstand playing 35 minutes, defending at a high level, and doing all those things.
Could be.
Plus, contract year. Come on.
Yeah.
Contract year players.
Listen, I'm with you. No, he's going to get paid.
16 and 8, he's going to average here because it's a contract year. It's.
I don't know if he'll average that much.
I'm just saying.
But he'll be. I can't wait to see how effective he is defensively, because now you don't have as much, right? I mean, now the pressure's on Jaylen Brown to be this elite defender, and we saw him do it for 2 minutes in a stretch against LeBron, and everybody thinks now, Jaylen Brown, let's anoint him as the next Avery Bradley. Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty hard to do. He's still in year 2. And to me, he hasn't really proven anything yet, and everybody's saying how great Jaylen Brown is. To me, Jason Tatum, they're very different. Tatum's upside is much higher. offensively? What do you want in the game